Welcome. The City of Pittsburgh's Black History Month honors the spirit and contributions of the Vashon family. We're highlighting the enduring legacy of abolitionists and activists of the 1800s. The impact continues to motivate contemporary movements for justice and equality. Underscoring the quest for human rights remains an ongoing journey through education, advocacy, and activism. We're here with D.S. Kinzel and J. Thomas Agnew of Boom Concepts, as we're here to examine the history and foundations that were laid before us by families like the Vashons.
Well, I think Thomas and I really were just colleagues in the same ecosystem. We had a lot of great respect for each other. We were facing some of the same challenges as young artists here in Pittsburgh, and we really were dedicated to staying here. You know, Thomas being from Ohio and me being from Pittsburgh. And so I think we really just combined our experiences, had some conversations with institutions of power, local philanthropic partners, and the Bloomfield-Garfield Corporation, businesses in our neighborhood, and we were able to really negotiate a unique opportunity, not only for us, but for artists across the region. So this is our
12th year.
Yeah, we're preteens. This is our 12th year. And, you know, Boom Concepts is dedicated to the advancement and incubation of artists across age level, across career level, and we specifically focus on Black artists.
That's awesome. Tell me a little bit about the milestones and achievements that you're proud of and how they've impacted your community.
I think some of our, when we think about how long it takes to run an organization, to actually do one thing very well for so long. I mean, we both have been in art for almost 20 years experience, 40 years experience between the both of us. So that really is a milestone to me, to be able to, excel and do great work in art and still be able to enjoy, just creating, right? The creation of Boom is, very exciting for us, and being able to stay in business and, have a space that's available for people to come in and, be weird, create, do fun things, be able to, workshop ideas. Our 5th anniversary, we had Bill Peduto come in and, talk to us about, the work that we have done. Celebrating 10 years, again, it's hard to do something for 10 years. It's hard to do something for 10 years, especially with a partner. You both have to be able to respect each other, respect each other's work, to be able to be, to have some back and forth, to be able to, really back each other up also. I back him up, he backs me up. I think that's some of the greatest contributions of our work, really. Being able to have over 50 events here in Pittsburgh, 250 events nationwide. To be able to have resident artists that have come nationwide to come to Pittsburgh. Our collaborations with so many other organizations here in Pittsburgh, including Carnegie Museum, Andy Warhol, August Wilson Center, Cultural Trust. So many different organizations have reached out to us, for contract opportunities, for, learning opportunities, education opportunities. We have worked with so many artists and, tried to figure out ways for artists to utilize their skill sets, to support their lifestyles and the work that they do, and still also be able to have fun and joy in what they do.
That's just awesome. I'm a big, fan of what you're doing. One of the things the reason I brought you guys into this conversation initially is because the blending of ideas in your community spaces, you're creating for people, and specifically in the arts world, how people are able to express themselves is something that's really important to me. So I just wanted to ask a little bit about how you create that space that people are able to join that conversation.
We just try to be good neighbors. We are artists, but first we're neighbors. We're looking at everything through an arts and culture lens. But Boom Concepts has served as a water distribution site. We've served as the space for Sweet 16 birthday parties. We served as a space for people to mourn their lost ones, collective mourning and community. So, it's really about remembering how to be a neighbor. A lot of times when artists move into a neighborhood or a community, they either have a reputation or an attitude of kind of making their own neighborhood within the neighborhood, not connecting with legacy residents, not connecting with community-based organizations, not connecting with the youth in the neighborhood. And part of our success has really been making sure that we are strong neighbors in Garfield, in Pittsburgh, and in Western Pennsylvania. So that is really, what's been important for us and has helped us survive 12 years. I mean, we've survived major construction on Penn Avenue, 2 different phases, where we had fences outside of our storefront. We survived the pandemic, where we were able to really evolve how we supported artists and how we supported community. And again, as Thomas said, just being together, we're always better together, and just having a partner for the past 12 years. And, knowing Thomas longer than that has been really a key to success and a benefit to the artists in our community.
There's a lot of respect that we have for the artist community and for the community that we exist in. Being connected with the Bloomfield Garfield Corporation has been amazing for us. We get a lot of learning information from Rick Schwartz. I mean, he has kind of taken us under the wing and just given us all the information that we can't hold in our heads, and, always has the door open, ready for us to talk about anything. And, we try to give back to the community, as DS has said, and, we're always really connected with what's going on. Being a part of strategic planning, being a part of, how other artists respect the community, and also, giving new experiences to the community that they've never been able to, connect with and just, share and love and enjoy. And, they often say it. So, I feel like we're doing something right.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, this work is so important, and having the collaborators in place, it sounds like, an organic, you guys went in and embedded into the community. You didn't come in and plant yourselves and say, this is what we do and this is what we're about. We're gonna work together. And it sounds like you've had a lot of success. So congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So congratulations on being recognized as the American Cultural Treasures. How has this recognition influenced your work?
I really think about it when we are part of the Cultural Treasures. We're one of the smallest organizations in that group.
Yeah.
Our team is very small, but we do a lot of work. We're often connecting with so many people, as far as just, like we say, we punch up. You know what I mean? We think of a lot of things with sports terms. I mean, me and him always talk about, playing off of each other, always making sure that we know what's going on, and being a part of that group, especially with the history of some of the organizations that have been a part of the Cultural Treasures, is very great to be thought of in that group, and to also be asked to be a part of, the advisory committee, because they see our leadership as something that is important for us to be able to speak up on, and they know the type of work that we do, and they know what we stand for. And it's very great to be a part of that, and to be able to connect with other cultural treasures across the nation. We had a couple other organizations in Minneapolis that we are now connected with through our residency, and we were like, oh, you're a cultural treasure too? Like, yeah, it's great to be able to connect and commit and talk and really build, relationships from there. So, I'm very thankful for what Heinz has been able to do with that, and Ford Foundation too.
Yeah, artist-led organizations, founder-led organizations need affirmation, both locally and nationally. And being part of the Cultural Treasures cohort really helped us understand that we're doing the good work. We know we're helping people, but when somebody comes in and acknowledges your work, nominates you, supports your organization, and also provides infrastructure support, really lets us know, okay, let's keep going. It gave us some fuel to continue. And I think it really led us to, helping to find our forever home, connecting with the Rotunda, and really envisioning what the future for Boom Concepts can look like.
So I want to take a moment and tell me a little bit more about the Rotunda. What's happening there?
Yeah, the Rotunda is our forever home. We've been always wanting to make sure we stay in the neighborhood, stay in the zip code. It's where we were founded. It's where we want to continue and lay our base for. The Rotunda is a former synagogue, and it's kind of experienced different uses since it's been a synagogue. It's been a charter school. It's been a site for vandalism, quite honestly. And it's always been a neighborhood center, a space where people say you can meet me here. School buses may stop there, public transportation stops there. But for the past 15, 20 years, it's been vacant. And, you know, with the support of the Bloomfield-Garfield Corporation and the newly formed Rotunda Collaborative, Boom is one of the first members and kind of partners in reopening the space. So it's 11,000 square feet of space, 35-foot high ceilings, a proper rotunda, domed ceiling, beautiful kind of artwork and references to the different lives that it's experienced. And it's going to take about 3 years of redevelopment, but we'll be moving from our modest storefront where we've been for the past 12 years into this space to really, again, it's affirming the work that we've done. It's allowing us to evolve the work that we've done and to present Boom concepts at a higher level so that artists get the experience that they deserve and patrons get a new experience with Boom concepts.
I can't think of a better way to use that rotunda, and I'm super excited about all of it. What are some of the challenges that you face in creating this dream, and how can we help you get there?
I mean, I really think is the first thing is fundraising. I mean, we're constantly fundraising, constantly reaching out to organizations, reaching out to the community. You know, we're doing tours every first Friday in the space to make sure that people get an opportunity to kind of see the work that we are doing along the way and not just doing the construction, being quiet about it, and then trying to hurry and rush later on. So, you know, I mean, there's opportunities for us to also connect with the city to really talk about what's going on with the building, the needs of the building, and how, you know, what it will do for the community. So, you know, there's just, you know, some things on the back end that, you know, we have to work on. The Bloomfield-Garfield Corporation is working through with the city, but, you know, really fundraising is really the big thing on that one. You want to talk more about that?
Well, I would say we need people to be curious. Right? We need people to be curious. As Thomas said, we have tours every first Friday that people can register for just to be nebby, you know, as we like to say here in Pittsburgh. So come be nebby, figure out what's going on, ask us questions, challenge us, ask us about the future of the site, ask us about parking, right? We want people to really be curious about this project. And when we believe when people are curious, then they can become excited, then they can be involved, and then they can be invested. You know, we want folks to tell your local city council person you want to support this, even if it's outside of your district. Definitely people within our district. We want to make sure we reach out to Councilman Mosley and also reach out to our new administration and encourage them to be supportive of this project. Again, it's going to be 3 years of redevelopment. Construction costs always are more over a longer period of time. And so, you know, we even need people to be curious about the cost of everything, you know, so that our team can also be responsible. So I think the biggest help that we need is for folks here in Pittsburgh to be curious, because in 3 years, this space will be hosting a ton of events, weddings, funerals, celebrations, everything that Boom Concepts has been involved with for the past 12 years, just bigger and better, because we believe the East End, we believe Garfield deserves that.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm in the Office of Special Events, so you're speaking my language, more things to celebrate, right? Okay. So I wanted to also talk a little bit about, I'm curious about your artists, and, you know, is there a range of artists from like youth, young, how old, and, you know, tell us more about that.
We're typically dealing with artists that are 17, 18. I mean, the oldest person we've engaged is in their late 70s, early 80s.
That's cool.
Intergenerational is key for us because we know our neighborhood, our community is intergenerational. And then Boom focuses on Black, brown, queer, and femme artists and entrepreneurs, folks that we know have traditionally been kept out of creative opportunities, entrepreneurship, and unique ways to express your ideas. We really want our artists to take advantage of the main street that we're situated on in Penn Avenue and the redevelopment that's happening on the East End between Lawrenceville, Garfield, and East Liberty. We can host upwards of 30 to 50 artists a year across contracts, exhibitions, residency opportunities, public art. If we work with the Carnegie system or the library systems, they may ask us to do some special activations. People know us for having a good time and being joy-centered, and we typically know how to kind of bring that team together of creatives, pay them adequately and at market rate, sometimes above market rate, most of the time, and making sure that they're getting an opportunity and they're getting acknowledged, and ideally it leads to the next thing. We always say we never work with anybody once. And when we talk about artists, we're talking about artists across disciplines. So even though Thomas and I kind of have a founding in visual arts, we've hosted drag artists and performers, we've hosted musicians, we've hosted theater artists, we've hosted gymnasts and athletes and writers. You know, however people really understand their creative intellect, we want to help them express it and hopefully kind of turn a dollar on that.
So if they're curious and they have ideas, they want to go to you and
We're willing to be curious with them and offer some opportunities.
All right, that's great. You guys are building up artists. You're investing in their professional development. And what does that look like?
I mean, that comes in many different ways. I mean, through Boom Concepts, we do peer-to-peer mentorship. You know, we've done exhibitions. Currently, we do our exhibitions at Emerald City, right here downtown. So we normally host 3 exhibitions in that space, along with a host of different events for people to be able to come and experience the art, connect with the artists, hopefully leave with some art for their home or for, you know, their other spaces that they work in. You know, our residency program, we started that actually when in our first year of Boom's existence by trial of having multiple artists in the first 2 years. So we had 3 artists that started the first year, multiple artists that started the second year. And then when 2020 hit, we were able to formalize that we wanted to do our residency in-house. So we started hosting 3 artists in Boom, which they were able to have 2 months in the space, also be able to get a paid stipend so that they could get supplies, you know, utilities, help with transportation, all types of different things. You know, we don't have any limits on how they utilize the funds to support themselves, just as long as they're supporting themselves. And then we had collaborations with Westmoreland Museum, where we hosted 3 resident artists in their space. And then we also have a collaboration partnership with Radiant Hall, where we also host 4 artists a year there, where they get 3 months and a stipend, and of course they get resources, peer-to-peer mentorship, opportunities for studio visits. You know, it's just been a great opportunity. Also teaching artists, you know, DS has led to teaching artists opportunities, you know, across many different ways. Artists that have been interested in working with youth, being able to utilize their skill sets to help the youth build their skill sets and, you know, their interest in art. And it's been amazing to be able to see that there's an opportunity for them to utilize that, to have an opportunity for job placement, to work, you know, not only at one school, different places, create their own programs, thoughts of ideas of those different things. So, you know, being able to have, you know, our residency program, again, has gone from in-house to now we have a connection with McKnight Residencies through Minneapolis, where we host at least 3 to 4 artists that come from Minneapolis to connect with Boom and connect with the community. Usually they come and try to get some rest and think about the work that they want to do in the future, but they also connect with our community. So, they may go and teach with Assemble. They may work with, a dance group that has done some work down at Point Park. They may want to, work with other individuals, connect with Kelly Strayhorn Theater. It's a great variety and way that we've been able to connect artists with how they want to work and what it looks like for them, instead of saying, hey, this is what you need to do. Hey, this is how this is supposed to do. We work with them and how they want to connect with community, how they want to connect with their work, how they want to display, present that to the public. And it doesn't always have to be something where you're trying to make money. So if you want to create, let's help you create. That's always first. And then if you want to, go into the business of art, we're going to also help you with those steps and resources and tools that we have built in the past 12 years that we've done this work.
Yeah, oftentimes the opportunity for artists only comes at the end, the performance, the showcasing the art, and you're not guaranteed to be compensated for that opportunity. We understood that artists really need support in production and dreaming and creating. And so the residency, by providing free studio space, free supplies, free learning opportunities for new skills, a space to make mistakes, and we're not asking for a final showcase or exhibition or performance. And so artists are just solely able to create something, be compensated for that, and really incubate for the next and better opportunity.
I love that because it takes away the pressure a little bit, that creative space that you really need to work on those things. And I'm going to bring it to the relevance. Why are we talking about art? Some people might be asking that question. In the 1800s, George Vashon was a poet among many, many other hats that he wore. And that was the way that he was able to express what he was experiencing in the world. So is there anything you'd like to talk about, today and how art is a forum for that, the impact of society, I guess?
I mean, we believe art to be a tool of translation. It can help people understand each other. It can help people understand things that are going outside of their neighborhood, outside of their region, outside of their country. We also understand that art is a space for collective joy. And as people are becoming more aware of global circumstances and different incidences that are happening both locally and globally, we need to ensure that spaces for joy are still here, they're still present. And oftentimes people call them third spaces or community spaces, and that's what Boom has always done. Sometimes it's very artsy and it's a show and it's a serious artist talk, and sometimes it's just a party. Sometimes there's a flyer for something, and sometimes we're just inviting people to our site and say, hey, let's hang out, let's talk about what's going on, let's listen to some music, let's have fun. And we want to make sure that through Boom, through the Rotunda, and we think about the Vashon legacy, that family not only expressed themselves creatively and freely through liberation, and they also fought for liberation, but they ensured that third spaces were always available in community. So we really believe that we live in that legacy. We also stand on the shoulders of organizations that are still here in Pittsburgh. Things like the August Wilson Center, things like Legacy Arts, so many, all of our partners in the Cultural Treasures cohort. We're standing together, and a lot of times as the youngest and smallest, we stand on the shoulder. So, we want to just make sure that there's a way for understanding through arts practice and what Boom Concepts does, but there's also always going to be a space for joy and fun, because if it's not joyful and fun, I can go get a desk job down here at City Hall.
All right, well, you guys, I'm going to put a plug in for our reception, which is February 6th.
Boom needs the support. Boom needs the support of the community. We're going to continue to support the community as best as we can, as best as us 2, us 3, us 4 individuals, our 5-people team. can do very well, but we need the support. We always need people to show up. We need people to show up and support the artists. We need people to show up and support the spaces that we are in. It's very important that people learn, people ask questions, people take some time out to go out and see what's going on, not only in our space, but other Black spaces here in Pittsburgh. You know, there's vast history. As he talked about, I'm from Ohio, so me coming into Pittsburgh and being able to continuously learn about the history of Pittsburgh is so important. So many people have come through Pittsburgh to learn, to build, to connect with community here. And it's always important that people who do come here from other places, you know, come and invest in that legacy, invest in that history, invest in the people who are carrying that forward. So, you know, like I said, I think, you know, really we're looking for the community support. You know, we're looking for the city support, county, state. You know, we're doing amazing work. I mean, the work is there. The information is on our website at boomuniverse.co. We do all types of programming throughout the year that we just want people to come out and enjoy and have some fun. As we always talk about joy. We always talk about being in a space, being happy, being able to see some art that you connect with. And yeah, we need people to put them shoes on and get out there in the streets and see what we have going on, because we're always doing something. We're always connecting in so many different parts of the city.
Well, I feel your energy here. I'm very joyful that you're here with us, and I'm looking forward to supporting Boom through the city of Pittsburgh.
Thank you.
Yeah, cool.
Be curious at www.boomuniverse.co. Check us out.